Imagine coming home early from a business trip, eager to surprise your family, only to find your house eerily silent. What would you do? I'm 32, and my wife, Emma, is 27. We've been married for 7 years, and we have 2 kids, Liam, who's 8, and Sophie, who just turned 5. I pulled into the driveway, noticing how still the house was. Strange, since it was a Saturday, and the kids should have been playing outside or watching TV. Emma. Liam? Sophie. I called out as I stepped inside, expecting their excited voices to greet me. But there was nothing, just silence. As I stepped into the garage, I heard it. A faint noise, like someone banging on a door. I froze, listening hard. The sound was coming from the cellar. Help. It was Emma's voice, muffled but desperate. I bolted toward the cellar door, my heart pounding. Emma. I'm here. Hold on, I shouted, fumbling with the lock. The door creaked open, and I saw her at the bottom of the stairs, her face pale, her eyes wide with fear. Emma's hands shook as she tried to catch her breath. It's your mother, she stammered, her voice trembling. My mother? What are you talking about? My mind was spinning. This didn't make any sense. Emma explained, she came over. With the kids. We were playing hide and seek, and I hid down here. But then, Emma paused, her eyes filling with tears. I heard the door lock. I couldn't get out. I pulled her into a hug, trying to calm her down. But my mind was reeling. My mother. Locking Emma in the cellar. Why would she do that? And where were Liam and Sophie? Emma nodded, wiping her tears. We need to go to your mother's house. That's where they'll be. She took them there. We drove in silence, the tension between us thickening with every passing mile. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to think. All I knew was that things were about to get a lot more complicated. As we sped toward my mother's house, Emma finally began to calm down enough to talk. Her voice was still shaky, but she was determined to explain. Emma said, it all started when your mom came over yesterday. She wanted to take the kids for the weekend, but I told her no. We had plans, and I thought it would be better if they stayed home. We arrived at my mother's house. The sight of Liam and Sophie playing in the front yard was a small relief, but it didn't last. Emma was already out of the car, marching up to the front door. My mother opened the door, her face lighting up with surprise. Michael. What a surprise. I didn't know you were coming home early. But before I could respond, Emma burst out, why did you do it? Why did you lock me in the cellar? My mother's smile faded instantly, replaced by a look of genuine confusion. What are you talking about? I didn't lock you in the cellar. I would never, don't lie? Emma's voice cracked with emotion. I know it was you. You wanted the kids to come here, and when I said no, you left me there. Emma, calm down, I said, though I was struggling to keep my own emotions in check. I turned to my mother, searching her face for any sign that she was hiding something. Mom, did you lock Emma in the cellar? My mother looked horrified. Of course not. I swear, Michael, I have no idea what she's talking about. Before I could say anything else, a small voice interrupted us. Mommy. We all turned to see Sophie standing in the doorway, looking up at us with wide eyes. Mommy, are you mad? Emma knelt down, trying to soften her tone. Sophie, honey, did Grandma do something? Did she lock Mommy in the cellar? Sophie shook her head quickly. No, Mommy. It was me. The words hung in the air, and for a moment, none of us could speak. Finally, I managed, "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Sophie's eyes filled with tears. "Liam and I wanted to go to Grandma's. But you said no, so I locked you in the cellar. I thought if you weren't there, we could go." My mother gasped, putting a hand to her mouth. "Oh, Sophie, why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want you to be mad at me," Sophie sniffled. "I told Grandma you went to a friend's house, so we could stay here." I felt a mix of emotions, relief that my mother wasn't guilty, but also frustration at the mess this had all turned into. Emma looked like she didn't know whether to be angry or heartbroken. "Sophie," I said gently, "locking someone up is very serious. You scared Mommy a lot." "I'm sorry," Sophie whispered, clinging to Emma. "I didn't mean to make you sad." Emma hugged her tightly, and I could see the tension starting to ease from her shoulders. But the bigger issue remained. "Mom," I said, turning back to my mother, "we need to talk. This can't happen again. We need to figure out how to move forward, for everyone's sake. Or else." My mother nodded, still looking shaken. "Of course, Michael. I never wanted any of this." Emma stood up, holding Sophie's hand. "I don't want to fight, but we need to set some boundaries. I don't want the kids caught in the middle of this." I knew this was just the beginning of a long conversation. But as we all sat down together, I felt a cautious optimism. It wouldn't be easy, but we were a family. And somehow, we'd find a way through